from a completely different perspective, like there are a lot of things that you guys are doing and you're accomplishing right now that are just all awesome.
Rolling. Welcome back to another episode of Jackson's Rambles, or something. I still haven't figured out a name for this. I'm joined by my dad.
What's up?
This is supposed to be a Father's Day special, but then I forgot to bring the stuff over to record the podcast. So this is a late Father's Day special. How many weeks late is it? 2 weeks?
I don't know. I don't remember. Father's Day is really not a big deal, so.
Oh, I see. Well, we have somewhat of a slam-packed episode today. We have 3 whole topics to discuss. That's very, very... that's a lot of content.
Huge.
Very, very large amounts of content.
The largest. Yeah,
so enjoy. The first topic we have here is sports. Specifically, the specific controversies within the latest tournament winners, whether it be basketball, hockey, football, whatever. Like, what are your thoughts?
Controversies in the past tournaments?
Yes, that's what the person said.
I don't know of any. I can't think of any controversies that are, like, recent. Can you think of any?
I get the latest one I can think of is Deflategate. That was the latest controversy I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, that was
also many years ago.
It wasn't that long ago, 7 years ago or so, but Tom Brady took his lumps and paid his fines, and
now he's playing for the Buccaneers.
He is, and took some fines. I think he might have served a suspension or 2 for a couple games, but nothing crazy. I don't know that that's like a controversy.
Oh.
But, I mean, I get it. I know what you're talking about.
Like, did you watch the NBA Finals at all?
The what?
The NBA Finals?
What's that?
The NBA, like the basketball teams?
No.
Did you watch basketball?
NBA is not high on my priority list. It's just not, it's not really that entertaining. I played basketball in high school. I do like to watch the Final Four or like March Madness, but the NBA is just not appealing to me at all.
Is it kind of like how college football is appealing to some people but not NFL? Is it kind of the same thing?
Probably, yeah, and it really has a lot to do with how you grew up and where you grew up and what teams you follow. So the big thing for us right now is what's going on with Deshaun Watson and if he's going to play, if he's not going to play, how many games he's going to be suspended, how many seasons he's going to be suspended, and all of that. So that should be coming up soon. We should know a little more, hopefully, in the next day or 2.
Well, yeah. For backstory, for anyone who doesn't know, we are Browns fans. Our quarterback is... Our quarterback is he a registered sex offender? Is that what it is?
No, let's just say that he really, really enjoyed getting massages. And he sometimes, and more than once, maybe like 20 or 25 times, has done some extracurricular activities when it comes to a massage. And the masseuses didn't like it, so it's now become a big sexual harassment thing. So I don't know if he's going to be registered. I don't know how all that works. But he sat out last year, and we need to win a Super Bowl.
Do you think Deshaun Watson's capable of bringing the Browns to Super Bowl?
I do.
You think so?
I do. I mean, he's very, very talented. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But I was also a Baker Mayfield fan, so I can't give too much credence to him because I haven't seen him take a snap for a Brown yet. But hopefully, I get to do that this year.
Yeah, that'd be great. What are your thoughts on the Bengals making it to the Super Bowl last year?
That was great. I mean, I'm super happy for those fans. I'm a little jealous because I've been waiting a lot longer as a Browns fan than the Bengals have. I mean, the Bengals and the Browns have both had some really dark days in the last 30 years. I've been a part of the last 25 as a Browns fan. So, in short, I was very happy for the Bengals fans because I get it. But also a little jealous that they made it and we haven't yet. But our time's coming.
Oh, for sure.
As a true Browns fan will say, there's always next year.
Yep, the only time we can't lose is during the draft.
Correct. The draft is usually our Super Bowl.
Yep. The next topic we have here is Wendy's, and specifically the fact that they now have a strawberry Frosty. What are your thoughts on Frosties in general, and will you be trying the new strawberry one?
Well, I do love a Frosty. I love a great malted shake, and that's essentially what a Frosty is. It's just chocolate ice cream with malt in it. I love that, as you can tell by my waistline. I do love a Frosty. However, I haven't had a Frosty in several years, but if I remember when I'm driving by a Wendy's, I'll try the strawberry because that sounds pretty good.
What is it, like, any appealing, or is it just the fact, oh, it's strawberry?
It's more, for me, it's the malt. I mean,
okay.
I like the malt of the Frosty and the way that it makes it taste. And I worked at an ice cream shop when I was in college.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I made this thing in Canton, this place called Taggart's, world famous. We made something called the Bittner, and it was a whipped up vanilla ice cream, chocolate with malt in it, and then they put pecans in it, and then whipped cream on top. It's world famous. I mean, you can literally look it up. It's world famous.
Did you invent it, or were you just like there?
No, I was just one of the people that was forced to make about 100 during a lunch hour. So
nice.
It was fun. But yeah, I don't know if that's why I like the Frosty so much, but the Bittner's very similar, and every time or the next time I go to Canton, which who knows when that'll be, but I'll definitely stop in to get it. And you should try it. I can't believe you probably had it when you were a baby, but probably don't remember.
Yeah, we never go up to Canton anymore.
Yeah.
So what is that? The Yard and Taggart's, is that what it's called?
Well, Taggart's is in Canton. So Taggart's is where I went to college in Canton at Malone.
Okay.
Malone's on 25th Street. Taggart's is on 12th Street, and it's just it's huge. It's a local thing, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Marion's is here.
Oh, okay.
One of those things where people that come here that have Marion's are like, this is trash. Mm-hmm. But people that live here think it's great.
Like Skyline.
Yeah, it's kind of like Taggart's. But that's where I worked when I was in college. So
nice.
It was nice. They worked around my schedule because I was, I played football, and I had football and weightlifting, and they just worked around my schedule, and I worked some random hours, but they were very cool. And
man, shout out Taggart's.
Yeah, we'll see. I'd like to go up there and visit sometime just to check it out.
Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor, like in general, malted in a milkshake?
Not really. If I were going to tell you what my favorite is, it's probably just like a soft serve twist.
Oh,
like vanilla chocolate, yeah. Just like the ones that they have at the dairy bars, like the K, or Dairy Queen's not really like.
Dairy Queen's kind of mid.
It's good. I mean,
I can go for a Blizzard every now and again, but it's kind of
Yeah, but the I don't know, the dairy bar like twist is where it's at.
Yeah. All right.
But I got to keep my portion small.
That's true. What else do we have in terms of topics here? Gas prices. We were actually talking about this before we recorded this. We were talking about the economical side of investing in a Tesla, and not only about like how expensive it was, but then also the carbon footprint that it leaves. Do you want to expound on that a little more?
Well, I will definitely do my best, but I will probably butcher it up pretty good. But like, I'd love to have the Tesla. The thought of having a Tesla, and I've driven Teslas. They're very nice. I love the fact that they just go, and there's no loud noises, nothing like that. It's all computerized. I'm a techie guy anyway, so I like that stuff. But the initial price of a Tesla is not cheap. You're probably looking at minimum for a very, very base. You're looking at almost $40,000, and you can buy a regular combustible engine vehicle. It may not be as nice as a Tesla, but you can buy one for almost half of that. So you have to think about the economics of that. I'd love to have a Tesla, like I said, but in order to accommodate our family, we would need a bigger one. Right. And guess what happens when it gets bigger?
It gets more expensive.
Exactly. So when you get to that type of price point, does it make sense to buy an $80,000 Tesla or a $100,000 Tesla or a $50,000 vehicle that is just as nice that you have to put gasoline in? Now, gasoline prices are expensive right now, but the cost of electric is expensive right now too. So it's one of those things you just have to consider.
You pick your poison almost?
Yeah, I mean, we're all taking it right now. All of us, everyone. I mean, you're 16, you're not taking anything. Your parents are absorbing it all, right? But from an economic standpoint, all the tax-paying adults we're all taking it in some way, shape, or form. It's not fun. I'm just thankful that I'm in a position where, going and putting gas in my car is not stopping me from putting food on my table. Right. So the Lord has blessed me in that capacity to where, I don't have to necessarily worry about if the gas goes up 50 cents overnight, because it has. So, that's one thing that you have to consider, and really like I don't know. I mean, buying a new $80,000 Tesla to save $30,000 over the life of the vehicle that you're going to put in gas, I don't know that it's worth it. But I'm leave it to the experts and do research. That's all I can say.
Leave it to the math people.
I'm not a math person, because you can ask me what 2 + 2 is 3 or 4 times, and I'll probably get it wrong at least once.
Nice. Do you trust the autopilot capabilities of a Tesla?
Do I trust the auto driving capabilities of a Tesla? Well, funny you should ask. I rented a Tesla a few weeks ago, and I figured out how to use the auto driving. This one was actually capable of doing it, and it's very intuitive. It's very neat, but I felt like it made me feel uncomfortable at times, especially going around curves or approaching other vehicles, because I felt like I was taking the curve too wide, and I was going to hit another car.
Right. And
there was one or two times over like a 2-day period that I pulled the steering wheel out of that, I pulled it out of where it was going on its own, and it didn't like that. And when I did that, the Tesla jerked, the steering wheel jerked. It didn't pull us off the road or anything, but it was enough to scare the crap out of my wife.
Right.
And she was like, "What are you doing?" She thought I was trying to kill us or something. But, so do I trust it? I don't think I've had enough experience with a Tesla to know if I trust it or not. Do I think I could get used to it? Yeah, it'd be super cool to just be able to say, "Hey, we're going here, just drive." But I don't know that there is the capability now at this point to just put it in an address and it'll tell you where to go.
Yeah. Or
take you where you want to go. I don't think there's that capability yet, but at some point that's going to happen.
Right. I fear that one day my grandkids won't have to go to driver's ed. They'll just sit in the car. Well, it might not be my grandkids.
I was going to say, it's probably going to be your kids.
I don't know about my kids.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think like driver's ed was. I know you went through it and you did it, but I remember being so pumped for my driver's ed classes, and like I had to drive with my teacher for 40 hours, and
oh, you had to do it with your teacher for 40 hours?
Yeah, we would just go out on a Saturday afternoon. There'd be 3 people in the car,
you would
2 in the back, 1 in the driver's seat, and then the funny thing about the way that the cars were set up back then is that the driver's ed teacher had a brake.
Oh, my driver teacher had a brake.
Yeah?
When we did it. He had a brake on his side.
Well, my driver's ed teacher was a little brake happy, so we spilled many drinks because he thought we couldn't drive, and we probably couldn't. So anyway, yeah, driver's ed might be a thing. You know, I don't know. I think that moving forward, it might be just, you know, your kids are just gonna get online and do a course and take a virtual driver's ed class.
Right.
Because everything's going virtual.
Yeah. Since the COVID.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's good.
It is great.
It's opened up a lot of doors for people to be able to work remote and not have to commute into the big cities and to go to their actual offices. I mean,
we were talking at lunch last week, and it was about how, like, do you imagine being those guys that invented Zoom in 2017, and like how much money they're making now since COVID?
Those guys invented it and had no idea, and now they're just multi-billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But yeah, I mean, I've been working remote since working remote was cool. So I'm an outside salesperson, so that was something that I've been doing since probably 2007.
Oh.
Been very fortunate to be able to just be an outside salesperson and work from home.
Yeah.
And that's very nice. But now other people are doing what I've been doing for a long time and realize how flexible it is and how nice it is. It's very, very, very nice. I mean, as long as you're working for your company and you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're making the money that your company thinks that you should be making and you're hitting your quotas and those kind of things, then it's great. But some people need to be in the office. Some people need that discipline. I feel like I'm someone that does better outside of that.
Yeah. I mean, how much have companies like come along since COVID? I think a lot of companies have found a great way to maneuver the challenge of, you know, not being in person and like sending a lot of people online. I think people like you that have been doing it for a while didn't really take too much of the heat for it because they're like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing.
I can't imagine being someone that went to, like, so I did it for 10 years. I went to the office at 7:30 in the morning and I left at 6 at night.
An enterprise, right?
Yes, and I did it for 10 years. I worked there for about 8. It was awful. I mean, I had an hour commute to the office and an hour back. So add 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night plus a 2-hour drive.
So what is that? You'll get home at 9?
No. I mean, in essence, I was working about 12-hour days.
Whew.
I'd come home, I'd eat dinner, I'd take a shower, and I'd go to bed. There was no Netflix back then, so we weren't watching shows. It was, you know, before you were born, it was me just grinding. I mean, I was
You were on the grind?
I was doing what needed to be done to pay the bills and to build a family, and it sucked. I mean, it really did. I mean, I didn't make that much money, but it taught me how to work. It taught me how to
humble beginnings.
Yeah, it taught me how to work hard for what I want and to, you know, just go out and get it. And that's what I did. And now it's fortunately, you know, it's been given me a position to do what I'm doing now. So, you know, that was laying the groundwork. Those crazy hours I worked back in, that laid the groundwork for where I am now. And
look where they got you. You have 3 kids. And, you know, little man, me, Reese, and it,
yeah.
Woo! Yay!
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I definitely love you guys and love Sawyer and love my family, and, you know, the dynamic is different. I mean, it's obviously not it's obviously not the way that we intended it 10 years ago or 15 years ago when your mom and I first got married, but I think your mom's in a much better place now. I think I'm in a much better place now, and we may not be together, but we're trying to do what's best for you and Reese and Little Man. So, Little Man is just an addition and a plus at this point.
Right. DLC.
What's that?
It's a technology term. It's called downloadable content. That's different things that you can just get after you completed the main mission in a video game, for example.
Like an add-on pack or something.
Yeah. Something like that.
Sawyer's just an addition that has been great, and he's been a lot of fun. He's a lot different than you and Reese were, but I don't know if that. I think.
Why do you think that might be?
I think it's because of me. I think it's me and the
way you've grown and matured.
Yeah, for better or for worse, I think it's got to be me, because he's not that much different than you and Reese were, but he's a lot different than I remember. But again, those were when I was working those crazy hours, and your mom handled most of it, or her mom helped a lot with sitting. You and Reese.
I think I got a little.
And her aunt helped a little bit, and so those were a lot of things that we leaned on family, because when we lived up there we had it. We moved down here, we didn't.
Right.
So and that's Rachel and I don't really have family. We do have a sitter that we can use on occasion, but Rachel and I really don't have family that we can lean on to say, hey.
No, not really.
Can you watch Sawyer from 8 to 6 today? That's just not really an option for us. So thankfully we have the flexibility to work around it.
Right. Does it make you throw up inside a little bit whenever you see Reese or I, either something physically or something that a way we act or kind of things we say, the way we look? Does it ever does it make you feel sad or I guess what emotion comes up when you notice something like that?
Well, I mean, most of the time I get pissed off, because it's usually you saying a smart aleck remark or something that I would have said when I was your age. So
something that isn't negative.
Well, I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm saying, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you say or you do, or the things that you say or you react to, are the same way that I reacted when I was your age. And it pisses me off. And it's not because I don't agree with what you're saying. I'm just why in the apparently I was a jerk, and sometimes you say things that are jerky, and I'm just I just don't want you to do that. But from a completely different perspective, there are a lot of things that you guys are doing and you're accomplishing right now that are just all awesome. You're opening up my eyes to the potential that you guys have. I think that you and Reese both have awesome potential to Reese is an athlete. Reese loves to do gymnastics and all that fun stuff, and you're very athletic as well, but that's not really where your passion is at this point, right? And I get that. I was an athlete, so I went to college. I played college ball. I was on the track team. I just
all pro or all state or something.
No, I was you can't be all pro in high school, but I was all state in football and track, and then I was all conference in basketball, believe it or not, as a 6 foot center. But you guys open my eyes every day with the things that you do, and I'm extremely proud of you guys. Every day. I mean, I wouldn't say there's anything that makes me want to throw up inside. I mean,
gushy feelings, aw.
No, I mean, I definitely love. I do love that you guys have a passion for God. Because when I was your guys' age, I was a church camp counselor. I went to church camp, and I went to church all the time, and I definitely knew God and knew Jesus, and to this day I have a personal relationship with Jesus, but I don't do everything right, but
right. I mean, neither do I.
No one does. We all fall short of the glory of God, for sure, but I love that you guys you guys get into that. It was a very, very pleasurable experience being able to spend Father's Day with you guys at church. It was
awesome.
Really cool. I think that church is got some really, really cool things going on.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Citygate.
Yeah,
Citygate Church.
Citygate. It's very, very neat. It's not necessarily what I grew up. The kind of church that I grew up. The kind of church I grew up in was very, very strict.
Oh, it was like pews and like dress code, and women have their own place, and kind of a whole.
Yes, women were not allowed to speak.
Oh, that's awful.
We were literally one step short of dancing with rattlesnakes in the church I grew up in.
Seriously.
It's very Pentecostal. People running around the church, people getting slain in the spirit, people getting drunk in the spirit, and that was some of that was very, very scary as a young child.
It is a little frightening for the first time.
But when you realize what it is, you kind of get it. I don't understand it all because I feel like some of it is just people being extra. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I definitely can tell you that when I went to your church, I went to your service. I could definitely feel the spirit. It was great. It was very calming, and it was a pleasurable experience. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but
okay.
I did like the church. I loved the music. Music was great.
Did you have like music like that back in the day? Your old church choir?
No, we were bluegrass.
Oh man.
Yeah, bluegrass.
Like banjos?
Hillbilly banjos. If I could probably drop a YouTube channel for my old church because I think they stream live, but it's just
they're still going.
It is entertaining to watch. I'll tell you that much, and I don't mean that in a good way. It's just most of the people that sang at our church couldn't hold a tune.
No,
we did have some really good musicians in our church because I learned how to play guitar.
Really, I didn't know you played guitar.
Yeah, I could play it in church and just play chords.
Right. I
could never pick or do anything like that, but some really good musicians in our church. But the singers were just bad. I love you, Mom, but she was one of the singers in the church, and she was one of the better ones. And my mom definitely tries, but there were some people in our church that just couldn't carry a tune worth. They couldn't carry it in a bucket. So, but anyway, but back then we didn't know any better. We were worshiping God and doing it in the way that
it was a joyful noise unto the Lord.
We were doing it in the way that the pastor told us that we needed to do it, because if we didn't do it that way, then we were wrong. And that was very challenging and very eye-opening when you get into the real world and you realize that that's maybe not the way that it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that's very interesting. I didn't know you grew up in a church like that. I haven't talked so much, I guess, to you about your early childhood church life or your teen.
Yeah,
Christian faith life.
My church life was every Sunday morning. We'd come home at church. Church was from 10:30. We'd get home about 12:30.
Okay.
We'd have lunch, and we'd take a nap. And we'd get up at 5:30 and go back to church.
You had Sunday night church every Sunday?
Sunday night church, and we had Wednesday night church.
Yep.
And depending on if your family was involved in the church or the church board, then you would have Thursday night too. So it just really depended, but it was every Sunday, twice a day, every Wednesday, no matter what. There were times I had to miss practice because I had to go to church.
Because of church?
Yeah.
Dang.
And that was just because my parents thought that was more important.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you find Jesus through? Did you find any way to implement your faith through sports? I know it's kind of a weird, specific question.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a Christian school. I went to a Christian college, and Malone was very, very is a Christian school. It was when I was there, and it opened my eyes up to what the church that I went to growing up, like I mentioned, was very closed-minded, and it was this way or the highway, And I realized when I got to college, and my roommate went to like a larger church, and he listened to groups, like they were mainstream groups, like Third Day. And I'm trying to think of, like, Third Day was his big group that he really liked. And he played it for me one day, and I was like, Jeff, this is devil music. And I was 100% convicted that what he was listening to was not of God.
Really?
I felt as if it were secular, and the only reason I felt that way is because of the music that I was forced to listen to, the music that I was told was worship music growing up. Nowadays, we know that worship can be rap, worship can be gospel music, worship can be singing, worship can be dancing, worship can be anything. But back then, it was what we did in the 3 hymns that we sung on Sunday mornings and Sunday nights.
Did you have like the hymnal books in the back of the pews?
Yeah. We're singing out of page 87 tonight.
Wow. That's
Come
nice.
as you are. It was
in case it's not written on the top.
Yeah, that's probably the page number and the song. I'm just saying.
Yeah, how many times you knew?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
Just as I am without one plea. Yeah, that was but that was the music and just the music that we listened to. And when I went to college, like I said, it opened my mind up. Like I really got big into like Kirk Franklin.
Okay.
And I stumbled in with some friends because I was on the football team. I went to a couple black churches in Akron, and just fell in love with their music, and that's, because I grew up listening to like R&B and that kind of stuff, but just their gospel and their choir and their music was just amazing.
It's different.
Oh, it's way different, and I still to this day I've never been able to find a church or a choir that's been able to replace that. It was the House of the Lord in Akron. I think it's probably still. You can probably Google it or YouTube it and listen to their choir, and they were awesome. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it opened my mind up to things that I never knew existed, and I realized that Yankee Hill Community Church was not the Bible. That wasn't the end all be all.
It's a personal relationship. It's not like this is how it's supposed to be. It's not concrete.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't cuss. Females don't talk in church. They don't speak unless they're spoken to. They always have to wear pants, or they can't wear pants. They have to wear a skirt.
Knee length.
Maybe they can wear culottes. That's what they called them when I was growing up. I think culottes are like a skirt, but they have legs, so they're kind of like jorts, I guess, but long jorts.
A skirt?
Yeah, we called them, when I grew up, we called them culottes. When our youth group for Yankee Hill, we used to do an annual trip to Kings Island.
Oh, so you came all the way down
local,
here.
Yeah, which is, it was a 2-hour drive for us from where we're from, but we would do an annual trip to Kings Island, and the church would pay for it, which was great because we didn't have the money to go. But they made us wear pants.
To Kings Island.
And long sleeve shirts.
That's awful.
It was bad.
Was this more than one occasion?
Oh, yeah, every year. But we learned after about the age of 13, Billy and I went to church together, and we learned that, hey, they rent lockers. Mm-hmm. We have an extra $1.25 to rent a locker for the day, because that's how much they were then. They're probably like 10 or 12 now.
They're like $5 now, yeah.
But we would bring a change of clothes. We would break away from the church group and take our long sleeve shirts and pants off, put them in the locker, and at the end of the day, we'd change before we met back up with everybody.
Dang. Billy's probably listening to this.
Well, we'll probably burn in hell for doing that, but we did.
It's funny. What was like the big difference? Because I know Kings Island has changed a lot since then, but like what was...
Oh man, Kings Island was so cool when I was a little kid. Now it's just like, I mean, The Vortex was the bomb back then. The Beast was the bomb. We had the King Cobra, which was amazing, which you probably have no idea what it is.
No. Probably replace it with Diamondback.
The King Cobra was actually, it's over there back by where Banshee is, I think.
Oh. Is it like the Bat?
No, the King Cobra was a standing roller coaster.
Oh, so like Firehawk before that was taken down.
No, Firehawk was the one you flew on. You like kind of lay down, but this.
That's right. You started
on King Cobra, and essentially all you did was went up a hill, you went down a hill, and you did a loop standing, and then that was it. But it was super cool.
So it was like Top Thrill Dragster kind of.
No.
I mean, you go up and down. And
no, but you actually do a loop, like you go upside down, standing. Like there's one up in Cedar Point that's very similar. It's a standing roller coaster. Even it might not even be around anymore. I think there were some studies done that found out that standing when you're going that fast and doing that stuff is not good on your heart or something.
That sounds about right.
They ended up just getting rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we rode. That was so cool. Like I remember when Whitewater. I think it's called Whitewater Canyon.
Yeah, the
Is
one.
it still called that?
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, that was like the big thing. It was huge when we the first couple times I went. But
no wonder the line is like takes 5 minutes to walk into that ride.
Yeah, but the line used to be out to the main area.
Shut up.
Into Rivertown. Yeah, it would take. We'd wait 2.5 hours to ride it.
Jeez.
Or more.
Yeah, now you can wait. I think the most I've waited for that ride in all of my Kings Island career is maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think the longest we ever waited in the line, we waited like 2.5 hours or a little more for the Beast one time.
Oh, okay.
And
but
that line went all the way over, and from where the Beast is, it went all the way down past where the little, the cars are, like the old antique cars.
Uh-huh.
It went past that and went all the way over to where like...
the racers are?
No, not that far. What's the Diamondback? It went all the way over to where the Diamondback is.
Jeez.
And it was like, you would see, like, they just had stuff painted on the concrete, and people would be waiting in line. You'd be like, oh my goodness. But I got to ride it. And
Beast is so good.
We would wait forever. But those were awesome. But that was back in the day where we never ate there. We couldn't afford to eat there. So we would
Could you bring your own food in?
No, we would go out to the car. We'd pack a cooler. We'd have, bologna sandwiches and chips in the car, and we'd say, hey, we're meeting for lunch at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and that's what we did. It was fine. It was great, and then we'd stay and watch the fireworks, and then we'd all sleep on the way home because the grown-up was driving.
Right.
But
was your youth leader cool? Did you have a designated youth leader?
I don't know that we had a designated youth leader.
Was it all just paravolunteers?
Yeah, that's what it, the church I grew up in also was very small. If we had 65 people on a Sunday, it was a big Sunday.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's like my school.
Do you remember, well, you probably don't, but back in the day they used to have these things that would hang up on up at the top by the pulpit in the top corner, and it would say attendance.
Oh, I've seen that before.
And then it would say tithing, and it would say the offerings, and we would, on a good Sunday, we would get $85 on a good Sunday. And that was just because, most of us, we were all poor, and, we weren't.
But at least you had hymnals and off-key singers.
Yeah, we had that. We did, like I said, we had good musicians, but yeah, the Kings Island trips were cool.
That's awesome. That sounds like it sounds like a blast from the past. Things are still similar today. Some things are different.
We definitely had a blast, but looking back at it, it's like, man, we really struggled. We
really
did. Oh yeah. It was. I remember people would fight about who's going to drive because no one could afford it. No one could afford to put gas in the car, and that's back when gas was $1.10.
Simpler times. Yeah, take me back, man.
Yeah, those days are gone.
Mm-hmm. Do you think gas prices will ever come down to what they were previously, I guess?
What they were. They're never going to go back down to $1.10. That's for sure.
Like, do you think it'll ever go back to sub 350?
Yeah, I do. I do think it could get to that. Do I think it'll ever be below 2 again? Probably not. I mean, I remember when I first started buying gas, it was 99 cents a gallon.
That must be really nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, you could fill up your car for
What,
12
15
bucks,
yeah.
13 bucks. I mean, but back then there was no need to ever fill your car up. I mean, why fill it up? We'd put $3 or $4 in it, and that'd get us 150, 200 miles. And that was more than we ever needed in a week.
Right.
But.
And you'd reportedly, what's the word, hassle Billy for gas money?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. My favorite story is we were all hanging out. I think we were skipping school, to be honest. And
you played hooky?
Oh yeah, several times. We were hanging out at a friend's house and doing some stuff we probably shouldn't have been doing. Playing video games and hanging out. You know, back in the day we were playing 2001 PGA Tour golf or something on PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
Whew.
But I remember one time my buddy called and was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And we told him we were hanging out. He said, "Oh, why don't you come get me?" I was like, "All right." He lived about 20 miles away. And I was like, "All right, I'll come get you." So I was like, "Hey, anybody want to ride with me to go pick up Robbie?"
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, nah, we're good. We're just going to hang out. Go ahead and get him. I was like, "Come on, man, ride with me. Just ride with me. Bill, come on, ride with me." I was like, "You're my cousin. Just ride with me, dude." And he was like, no, I don't want to go. I was like, "All right, fine. You seriously? Come on, man, ride with me." He was like, "All right, I'll ride with you." So what do? The first thing I do is we pull out of my buddy's house, and I pull right into the gas station. I look at him, I'm like, "What you got on gas?" And he looked at me like in today's terms, he looked at me with the biggest, bruh. Really? Are you seriously asking me for gas money? I didn't even want to come. But, yeah, we used to do stuff like that all the time.
That's funny.
I mean, as many times as I did it to him, he probably did it to me too. So, it was just, those were the days.
Man, we are wrapping up with 45 minutes. That is not bad. Do you have any parting words, anything you'd like to say to all 20 people that'll probably listen to this?
No, I mean, it's probably all just a bunch of nonsense, but that's what we are. We're just normal folks that like to have fun, and I like to support my son if he wants to do a podcast. So
yeah. So no wise words of wisdom for the
wise words of wisdom. You know what? I do have one, and this goes out to the last person you had a podcast with was Maddie, our cousin, which is Billy's daughter. She had those wise words of wisdom cards that she gave to everybody, and
that's right.
I left her one. She didn't say anything about it, but it's very, very short and sweet. And I remember one of my best friends in high school put it in my yearbook, and he said, "Brent, always remember that no one has ever drowned in sweat."
That is true.
And that even as a high schooler, him telling me that hit pretty hard, because it just means you can never work too hard. So
yeah.
No one has ever drowned in sweat, kids.
That's awesome. Man, thanks, Dad, for coming on the show. Thank you for, despite the technical difficulties and the dog in the background. Yeah,
it's all good. That's life.
Yeah, thank you for talking for a while.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Love you.